I'm going to call this meeting to order at 4:30. Carl will be coming. Do I have an approval or any questions about the consent agenda?
I'd like to recommend one change to the agenda.
Yep.
I would like to, under new business, art for display, I would like to move that to the beginning, right after public comments or communications.
Okay.
Oh.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
To vote on it?
It is an action item.
Okay.
This, well, yeah,
I'm
yes.
supposed to move it?
I'll approve the move that and to approve the minutes.
To move it?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? No. Okay, we're going to move that up to public, right after public comments then. And then the rest of the consent agenda?
That was my consent agenda motion.
For the whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, well, perfect, we've already done it. Okay, so public comments, we don't have any public comments, do we? Do we have any written communications from the public?
No.
Okay, and then.
So, yeah,
So-
this is Dolly Geyer, and Dolly is here to, she would like to donate a piece of art for permanent display in the library. The policy makes that this board's decision as to whether or not to accept. So, well.
I'm Dolly. I'm not from here, but I am a resident now in Decatur. That's all I gotta say about me. I work at Cancer Care, and they do exhibits there from time to time for local artists. And one of them that they're featuring this month was Mark Dove, which I'm sure you're all familiar with her work. And the piece that grabbed me was this. Not only because it's just such a beautiful mix of colors, but the theme, it just, again, not being somebody from Decatur, for something this iconic to reach out and grab me makes a statement all by itself. It was just every day I would walk by and it just always drew my eye. I knew it was there. I could walk by it another time. I never could. And so I took it upon myself. The thought that went through my mind, it seemed like every time was that this belongs to the people of Decatur. They should be able to see it and share it. And maybe there are people who have family that's been working for Staley, live with Staley, who something to reminisce and look back on and talk about, just anything about it. And so I felt like it was my mission, my mission to do this. So that's why I'm here today. And this is I'm not doing it justice. I'm not very easel. So.
Well, I have to say for me, I'm a big fan of Rhoda. I actually own 3 of her paintings and gave one away as a wedding present, so.
You have a bias.
I do have a bias. I'm a big Barbara fan. I
It's
like
really
her
cute.
work.
I mean,
Yes,
it captures it absolutely perfectly.
Well, and her husband was Dr. Dove, and he was quite a well-known doctor with cancer care as well, so there's that.
I thought he was a neurologist.
Was he?
But he worked for, maybe it was a neurosurgeon. I don't know. Yeah, my husband's a doctor, so.
I may have that wrong. That's what I was told, but like I said, I'm not from here.
I think he works with cancer patients, probably.
Maybe that's
but
what
he
it
was.
was.
I'm pretty sure he was a neurologist.
Okay.
But
It's
so he was a very prominent doctor.
Yes, he was. Okay, so that's my speech. I'm going to Nancy.
And so you would like to donate the painting to the library?
If those are the conditions, that's fine. Originally, my thought was that I would retain ownership and just keep it on permanent display here. But if it's a condition then to be donated,
No, it's not a
We
condition.
could probably work something like that out.
Yeah, we
If the board approves.
that sounds good. All right.
You've got-
Either way.
You've
You
done
would need a
things-
loan agreement.
So you can help us out with that.
I can help you out with that,
Yeah, 'cause we've done things like that before, so.
All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Well, I make a motion that we accept that beautiful gift and that Becky will help with the loan agreement on acceptance.
All right.
That's what, I just want to be sure that that's what we're talking about. I agree. I would second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to accept the painting on loan. display it in the library. So all in favor? All opposed? Okay, so we would love to do that, and
That's awesome.
Becky will help with the loan.
So why don't you reach out to me and we'll get together,
Yeah,
the three of us will get together, we'll work out a loan agreement and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do just have one more question.
Yeah.
Is there a requirement that I have it framed and placarded?
No, because I think Barbara Dove likes to have her stuff unframed. She
Okay.
paints the sides of them, so I think if
I
you were to
noticed
frame
that.
it, that
Okay,
it would be untrue to her work. She does not frame anything.
very good, all right.
So I would say no. I
Alright.
mean, we could probably figure out the placard thing.
Okay, that works.
I'll if you could send me an email tomorrow, we'll get it all arranged.
Will do. All right, thank you.
It may take us a bit to work, it may take us a little bit to work on that loan agreement, but we'll be in touch.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Written was after, but we already talked about that. Okay, division reports. We'll start with you, Becky.
Okay. All right, so I have show and tell for you.
Ooh, Sean's out.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, hi Carl, you're just in time.
Carl, she's on. For show and tell.
Just in time for the importance.
Yeah, you missed a,
Beautiful
just that beautiful painting.
It was a beautiful painting. So,
Exactly.
I've mentioned before to you guys that we're working on something called archive space. And we are putting all of our accession records and all of our finished collections on there from the archives, so that they can be a lot better searchable, a lot more searchable. So I wanted to show you guys what the public facing site is going to look like for that. It is not live on the website yet, but it will be sometime after our discussion. And I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what the patron's going to see. So this is the front page of it. You know, it's got a parent institution. It tells you how many collections, how many unprocessed materials, subject headings they can search under, names they can search under. If I go into unprocessed materials, these are all our accession records. And what this is, so like this is first courthouse certificate. It gives you a complete description of what we know about the item. This is an item that came in long before I got here. It was found in the closet when I was doing an inventory, and it had never been accessioned. So you'll see a lot of numbers that say 2014. That's from the inventory I had to do, and I have no idea when this stuff came in. So this is one of them. So you get a little bit of a description, certificate making the first courthouse in Macon County Historic Site. You get, if there's a donor, it'll list who the donor is. No phone numbers, no nothing, just a list of who the donor is. And then an inventory, like one historic site certificate. If it came with anything else, that would be in the inventory as well. Right back up, go to one that's actually, oh God, well, that's cool. Well, not as cool, but photos from the 1974 NMW explosion. This photo album came in 2019. You'll see that the identifier number, so that tells you when it came in. And who it was donated by. It is a gift, not a loan, not a transfer from anyone, and that it is a photo album and a news clipping. So that's the kind of cool thing. People can actually see now what's come in, what they can look at, and they can get a hold of us and go, hey, I know you have this photo album, can I see it? And then we can make the judgment call on whether or not we will allow them to see an unprocessed material. Usually I do, hence we do a lot of box inventories now for collections that come in, because that way it gives a lot more access to things that are in that back room that otherwise would not be accessible, because it's going to take me 8 to 10 years to get through most of that stuff.
Rubber-made container full of celebration pictures.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, don't be sorry.
Ashley.
Don't be sorry. But yeah, so that's, sometimes like if, and I don't know, probably we'll get to one. We don't have a keyboard that works today for this, apparently. But some of them you'll see as transfers. So there'll be transfers from different organizations, Macon County History Museum, different genealogical society that was sent up, and then it'll be marked instead of donor, you'll see transferred from blah, 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 Macon County History Museum, courtesy of Paul Krause, or whatever. So the other cool thing is these are the processed collections. So if I click on that, and I go to, let's do the big one that I'm currently working on. Okay, Buchanan Public Library Board of Trustees records. Okay. Here, this is the full collection, or description of the full collection, scope and content, biographical historical information, how big the collection is, what language it's in, custodial information, where it came from. It was transferred to the local history room from a random closet in the Buchanan Public Library. We do expect accruals because, well, we still exist. And you know, you got your subject headings that need to be worked on. But then you also have some finding aid information. When was this taken? When was the finding aid done? Is there a finding aid? Yes, there's a finding aid. And then repository information. But if I scroll back up, and I go to this left side here, you can search the collection itself, or you can click on one of these and see each and every one of the folders.
Oh, girl, did you do this?
I have to do it by hand.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
It's the job that never ends.
Yeah. I have a lot of job security, but yeah. So I've currently got this down to, hold on, 2017. This collection is up to 2020. Yeah, that's it. This collection is only up to 2020. We have all the records for the last 5 years. We just haven't put them into the finding aid, the completed collection. So eventually this will get updated. But that is available to a patron right now for them to look at. And if I click on one of these, it gives them a description, where it is in the collection, what box it's in, from the series, what the scope and content is. It pulls all of that onto there. So once I have all that information in there, when I go to add these folders in, this stuff gets pulled from the already existing information that I already put in for this. So this is all on there for people to look at. If I back up, we go to, let's go to the Basalki family. Same thing, a little bit smaller. Get a nice biographical information. This is really what my finding aids look like. All that information. But then again, you can look at all the photographs. The actual items are not on here, because that's not what it's for. It's just an information finding source. So
they know that you have it.
they know we have it, they know what box. They can contact us and say, hey, you've got this folder and it says it's in this box. Can you send it to me?
If it's on Omega, do we have a way to
I don't think the two link yet. Or there might be a way to put a link in here, yes.
Okay.
I haven't gotten that far. But, because like the Basalki family photos are on Omega already, so we should be able to link that up with that. But yeah, so this is what we've been working on. And it's a lot of information.
She wanted to know about that Kirkman murder.
Oh yeah, the Kirkman murder? I don't have a lot of information on here, but the family, the Basalki family is related to the Kirkman murder, and I guess it was an older couple that were found dead in their house. But there's an actual folder for it, and the article is in that folder.
Oh, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird murders in this town. Yeah.
All your family.
Oh yeah.
That's so crazy.
It's all online. It's all available.
Yeah.
Fun fact about the Basalki family, by the way, we put this collection on Omega, and I think I've mentioned this before, but we put this collection on Omega with all the photographs, and most of the people, we didn't know who they were. The minute it went out there, some woman comes running into local history and goes, you have photos of my family. Oh crap. Okay, what did you do? No, it's good. Let me sit down and tell you all about them. And then gave us a complete rundown of who's in what photo.
I love that. That's very cool.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
called
already-
crowdsourcing.
It's already doing its thing.
Yeah. And Always Just Omega, and that was a few years ago. So, but this isn't live yet, but once it goes live,
Just wait for the families to come.
I'm hoping the researchers just get super excited about it. Yeah,
Everyone's like, oh my gosh.
yeah, so we're pretty excited about this. This is the back end, by the way. So this is what I work with. And so I can see all the collections I've already put on there. I can edit them. I can search all of my accessions and edit them. I can see how many accessions have come in on what year. So if Rick came to me and was like, how many collections did you get in 2013? 9 that we know of.
So can you tell this is Becky's sweet spot?
Yeah.
I love that there's passion.
Yeah, and then there's the creating. We can add in, we can create subject headings. Carol, you might like this. We can do Library of Congress, medical subject headings. Yeah, all of these. We haven't gotten to that point yet where I put all that in.
Yeah.
I can go back and edit it anytime.
Yeah.
So once we get more information, once we get better at something, we can go back and put in subject headings and all that stuff. So it'll always be getting better.
Let's not go on leave the site. Right there.
Yes, I want to leave the site. Thank you. This is how I create an accession record. Just fill it in. And then if I go down here, I can add in all this information. So I can link accessions to each other. I can link accessions to resources. Resources being the complete collections. All in one place. So, yeah, we're very excited about this.
I'm excited about this. This is the kind of stuff I love.
And this is on a server in the building. This is not out in the cloud. It is in the building, well, for now anyway. Until Matt figures out that, how to get this out on a cloud, because eventually it needs to go somewhere. But yeah, this is an in-house situation. It's on a Linux server, I believe. So yeah, any questions?
Looks good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Becky.
I see myself going down many more holes.
Yeah. I'll let you know when it's live.
So we're having to use touchscreen
Yes.
because
Yes.
we had the video game event over the weekend. Apparently, when we put all the smart boards back, we didn't make sure that the keyboards and mouses were matched to the right.
We're missing a key, yeah, we're missing the right keyboard.
That's why we did.
Carl, I'm going to let you take over, and I think Melissa's next, but just let me know where we're at.
So, summer reading is going phenomenally. I think at the start of the summer reading program, our numbers were 20% higher than they were last year at the same exact time. And it's been so exciting that John Shirley has been sharing the stats nearly daily. And so some people were inundated, that being the Friends of the Library Board and staff, with how great it's going, which also gives us a clue to how many more things we need to buy to make sure we have enough for everybody when they come in.
It was popping down at the front of the library, like right before I got, it was very busy. So, and lots of kids, so.
That's really nice. Now, I met with him yesterday, and he says it's starting to taper off. We knew it would need to taper off. But in my time here, for over 20 years, the highest I've ever seen in, when it used to be the children's department, was 1,641 people registered. Of the 1,641 people who registered, I want to say it was under 600 who completed the program. At the time, we had 7 goals, so it took a lot longer to do it.
My kids always completed early.
Of course, I would have not been otherwise. However, over the years, fewer and fewer kids were being able to complete it, what was, vacations and things, and so many kids being in preschools, daycares, that were being brought in as a group. So what we've done is, over the years, scaled down 6 goals. Now we're at 5 goals, so that helps quite a bit. But if we stay on course, we're thinking over 1,700 kids participating, which I've never seen. And I've been here over 20 years, so we're very excited about that. And one of the cool things that we have done, which isn't the So we now, when the children's area got the new desk, they used to have a display cabinet where they could put book displays in, or, like the Easter Bunny. And they decided they wanted to keep it, they just didn't know what to do with it. So they chose a spot, and they've chosen to highlight what the kids can win, the prizes for the summer. On a separate note, kind of separately, Alex Frazier said, we want a cabinet to display what we've got. So Ty Pemberton told her, hey, check out IKEA. And she found something, and I just happened to be in the area to pick it up. And that went out on the floor about the same day that John said, hey, everybody should be doing this, because the kids are seeing and saying, hey, Mom, you should register too, because you could win something also. So when the teenagers in particular see the things that we're giving away for reading books this summer, we get more buying. So anyway, it's been hopping.
Love it.
I'm gonna go good and bean stack right now, because I should not.
I
finished. I'm done. I haven't
You get a prize?
I have one today.
I say with adults and teenagers it works differently. They get kind of cool tchotchke stuff. Like for instance, one of them is a barrel full of monkeys, but it's a keychain that's miniature. I have one on my desk. It's purple. It's so much fun, and it's even harder when they're in miniature. But they tend to put their things in a raffle that they can win bigger things like Kindles or Oculus. Great Lego.
Lego set.
Yes. So any questions about summer reading? No, it sounds like it's awesome. We had our first summer reading story time this morning, and I was in a meeting, and so I don't know what the numbers are, and I haven't checked yet, but I'm excited to find out because we have switched from the typical librarian sitting in front of 40 to 60 kids reading a book like this to putting the pages overhead. And I did see the first time we ever did it that way, John Shirley did a musical story time. You were there with Milliken McBand members. And it was interesting because John all of a sudden was able to put more of himself into the story. And so he was using his arms and hands because he didn't have to hold the book and stay out of the way so the kids could see. And so he got to do it today and he was really excited.
They're big guys,
And it's wonderful when you know that you're going to have daycares coming. And we usually reach out and say, which one are you coming to? Are you coming to all? So that we make sure we have enough chambers. And of course, starting tomorrow, Ridiculous is performing tomorrow at 10 and 2, and we're doing 2 shows next Monday and 2 shows next Tuesday. And I'm predicting, based upon our numbers, I said I bet we get over 800 people in 6 shows. It will be a show that's never been seen before yet, but all 6 shows will be the same.
You think 800?
If we're going by this 20%,
Yeah, I think you will.
because we did 5 shows in 6 days and got like 650 people, and this will be 6 shows, I don't know.
You will.
I could be wrong. Okay, I'm done.
You said 10 and 2 tomorrow?
Yes, 10 and 2 tomorrow. Monday, I think, is also 10 and 2, and I think on Tuesday next week, it's 10 and 6. We get the least amount of people coming to the evenings, but there are people who need the evenings. And 10 a.m. is always our best time. So we're trying to,
Before nap, before lunch.
yeah. That's how
Right
you,
after there.
And the kids have been up for so long by that point.
yeah.
It's not really fair because they had big flashy stories. And I have just a random list of things.
Boring.
I love it.
Boring.
So, yeah, it's cataloging and numbers and database changes.
Oh, we love those too.
Yeah, so,
Have an easy name?
yeah, so we're doing some projects in Becky's area. I don't know if you guys use the collections in there, but there's like yearbook collections and there's plat book collections. And over the years, they've just put a call number on it, and it's the same call number for 50 things. So we're changing that around to just be, MacArthur 1982, and then with the plat books, county and year. So we got that going. And summer is when, they're not doing as much ordering. So we can kind of do some bigger projects, like some really exciting things like database changes for in repair.
Oh,
Stop, girl. So exciting. Yeah. Jennifer went to the health fair, and I think we got a few signups. We try to go to, whenever they have a program and it's appropriate, we try to send a clerk. We had 2 or 3 visits from students, including, I think it was St. Pat's, they had the library for a day, or something like that. Anyway, they actually came to TS, they were interested, so that's really nice. Usually people kind of gloss over after they see an auto. Let's see, this is kind of interesting, just thought I'd just share this with you. So, you know, we have a bibliographical standards committee. We keep up with subject headings and changes before you glaze over.
I know, it's exciting stuff.
So, I thought for sure that the Library of Congress would not adopt Gulf of America. I was like, oh, they're not going to do it. And they did. And I was shocked. So our own committee is going to not remove it, but not add it, still Gulf of Mexico. But to me, that was a big deal. I don't think it should be. And you know what? It's going to go away. It's going to flip back.
Just put a post-it on it, girl.
There you go.
That's what I told my teachers. They're like, do you need new maps? I was like, no, I'm just going to post it. Put it over there. Optional.
Just call it golf.
And I'd like to add, without Carol's staff doing the boring stuff that they do, the exciting stuff can't be done because they'd all be looking for books that they couldn't find because,
Foundational.
yes,
Yeah.
you can't, it actually is, it's core, so.
Yeah, not exciting, but
Why can't you find anything when you're at Barnes and Noble? They go, oh yeah, we've got that, and then you're taking you around, they can't find it because they don't have pages, they don't have.
and they don't know how to classify stuff.
Right, so.
And people who go to bookstores like to put books in other places. Not me, I never did that. So, questions?
We appreciate your efforts nonetheless.
You know, if there's ever a question, like a burning question you want to ask about cataloging or circulation, just ask. Just tell you these kind of things.
I got it out, guys.
All right.
I'll see
That's
you.
the finances, man.
No, it's not bad.
I've looked at a lot of numbers today.
I said Jan gave it to me.
He has a headshot. He'll just use the one that was on the billboard.
Billboard, yeah.
He's a winner.
That's
Yeah,
right.
this
Classic
last
baby.
weekend
Winner,
too.
winner, chicken dinner. Yeah.
So, just in the interest of time, I'm not gonna go over the written report a little bit. If you have a question for me, you can certainly ask, but boy, I wanna look at these numbers.
I know. I saw it.
Holy moly, where'd
I
it
saw
go?
the graph. I was like,
I was pretty excited when I was looking at the graphs.
So,
you know how I like graphs, but
Literally.
look at, I
This one
mean,
was
that's
exciting.
this year, that's last year, that's this year, that's like, look at that.
Book talk.
Yeah, so last year, 22,417, this year, 24,683. That is a 10% overall increase. But look at children, 19%
We
increase.
love it. We need
Everything's up.
we see what you're doing over there. We see what you do.
Yeah, 12 month, the last 12-month trend, okay, maybe we won't spend as much time on that.
We got it. We got the vibe.
What in the world? Yeah, I'm not good at this. I want the mouse. Oh, come on. Come on. All right, I'm just gonna sit down.
I got it.
We have it right there.
We have the paper.
Yeah, we can just flip.
I offered to be Dan.
So,
You see that fingers over here.
these are the best numbers in any month that we've seen in a long time. What we're hoping is that this is a beginning of a trend and not an anomaly, but it could be an anomaly.
I'm hoping trends.
Wow, you guys, this is just, just across the board. Look at books, physical books. Now, I will say, a lot of this was renewals, but we always count renewals. So,
Oh, renewals don't count. I'd say it counts because I renew books too all the time.
yeah, we always.
I'm always like, oh, I need it for 3 more days.
So,
And then I keep it for a week. But
we're looking truly is, I think, and it's not just in, let's see what I've got. When you look at that last page, look at visits. New patron registrations, 245 to 197. Look
I
at
mean,
this.
245 is wild. It's always like 200, like it's right around 200
Right.
every month.
Right.
Like,
So look at it in 15,000. I mean, that's getting to be pre-pandemic numbers.
Now, I have a question, is some of this because you made it easier to apply online?
For the cards?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know off the top of my head what percentage of that is electronic and how it compares to it, but I can find out.
Because I can tell you, I'm the kind of person that would be like, yeah, I'm gonna do it electronically and then show up at the library and take out a book.
I do both. I have stuff.
Because I don't wanna fill out the
Yeah,
forms,
yeah,
I don't wanna
yeah,
write out all that
yeah.
stuff.
I hear you.
Anyway, I'm just
Program
saying
numbers
this-
are up. This is a very good month, and we felt it too. I mean, it was just there was a subjective experience of, hey, well, this place is hopping. My goodness.
It is popping.
It is.
Yesterday I was like, good Lord, what do they got going on? The parking lot's
Do you
full.
think it's the furniture?
I think it plays.
I mean, seriously, it makes the place look
I
happy.
think it plays. I
Yeah,
think it plays a
happy.
role, and I think the
Yeah.
A
play
lot of people have
area.
been talking
The
about
play
it.
kids
area.
area is really, I mean, my kids, I mean, we were not supposed to be in the teen section, but we checked out the teen section, make a bracelet. We were like, ooh, they got stuff back here. I'm gonna make a bracelet real quick.
Sure. So, I mean, there's nothing that happened last month where you go, we have to keep an eye on that. It was all good. Let's hope we can keep that up. Happy to answer any questions.
awesome. What I want to see.
All right, if no one has any other questions, we will move down into committee reports.
PPPR met at the beginning of this month. We reviewed 2 policies. The first was the photography and video policy. We, I don't remember what we did.
I think on this one we didn't change
We
anything.
didn't change it.
It was simply formatting.
Formatting, yeah. And we also asked Claude, the AI, to review these 2 policies, and it kind of just reiterated the same thing. Okay, so I didn't really give us anything. So I would like to make a motion to accept the policy as provided.
Okay, we need a second. Our first time.
Second.
Second.
First and second, Carl.
There's been a first and second, sorry about this. There's been a first and second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and Sherry, aye, pilot, motion carries.
The next one was the staff social media policy. I think we also did the same thing, like where it's mostly.
There's some language we got to line up, but we had some places where it said staff and other places where it said employees.
Yeah,
And
we
I
just-
went through it, did a find it in
Find it.
place.
Yeah.
Just cleaned it up.
Yeah.
So this is basically just staff using social media, don't badmouth your Disney work on the internet. And just be aware of what you're posting. So I think they do a great job. I follow a lot of them on Facebook. So, but I'd like to make a motion to accept this policy as presented.
I'll second. Paula?
There's a first and second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and Chair, ayes have it, motion carries.
The next is the city librarian evaluation. That's already complete. So,
Discussion item.
but we did talk, like, we were waiting for the compensation discussion, which I think is later.
So should we just table that till the compensation?
Well, the evaluation's separate, so,
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah, we can talk about that in the compensation. Or, I mean, I said,
We're good,
alright,
yeah.
yeah. So I think, I don't remember that there was any other business, so, or any other business.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to go down to finance and property. Ethan, I know that you were.
Yep, capital needs, forget what we talked about for.
I'll tell you what, there ain't no trash up there on that roof.
I
I saw
that when I was over
It's so funny.
This
Yeah,
roof
what's
project,
up?
we
And we
And as far as we know, the roof is completely done.
Have you been up there? Have you walked around? Have you
I
inspected with your
have
hands
not.
behind your back?
I have not. Dalton's our guy, man.
I was here on Tuesday and I was like, the trash is gone. And then
She
I
texted me and
today,
we
but
Yeah,
I
it struck me that
noticed
they
it.
started this project just after my granddaughter was born. She's talking. So,
She's making words now.
Makes,
Hasn't she already had her first birthday too?
she has.
Yeah, just pointing that out. Okay.
So they had to pay some penance getting up there and doing it in this heat too, so
Yeah,
I,
true.
it was just like, yeah.
So the furniture update, we're still waiting on,
Dad's.
You guys saw that email that I forwarded today?
Yes.
I like how they're just like likely.
There, and then
Not
it's
likely.
deeper in the
That's like-
email, it says like 7:14, and I was like, okay, but you said 7, 7, 7, 2, 7. So,
A lot of numbers being thrown away.
there,
Gaslighting.
it's not gonna be.
well, they're not getting paid until they deliver.
Might just
so-
hold it in the
Misunderstanding.
like after they're done, hold it.
Can't pay you for an invisible job.
So, but I did hear that we're going to have the other company that work with Thomas Interiors, who keeps trying to get us to pay for the last $33,000. And we keep saying, not until you fix everything. They're sending Omar and his crew back on the 1st of July to do these final fixes. And this will be Omar's 4th trip back, and they keep sending him with wrong stuff. And he's like, hey, I'm getting paid.
He's fine, he's like, I don't have a screwdriver.
He's like, he's totally liking us now.
Yeah,
Little drives, Decatur.
they're saying with made to order stuff that is wrong, it doesn't fit, so.
This is
Or
turning me off to the whole.
So, that's where we are, and, so we'll have, I'm waiting on just a final, Tiffany's gonna send me kind of final what is still outstanding, to pay, and I'll have, like, next month, I'll have a number for y'all. It's possible that we might have to move like $4,000 or $5,000 more over to the capital reserve fund, but, yeah, that's where we are.
Okay. So the next is the check registry that we looked over. I don't know if anybody else who wasn't on that committee has any questions about anything in there. If you don't, then I am going to make a motion to accept the check registry as we did in our committee.
First, is there a second?
I second Paula.
Fantastic. With first and second, any discussion? Seeing none, it is a financial item, so we'll go around and the voice vote.
Aye. Kelly says aye.
Samantha, I.
Paula, aye.
Ashley, I.
Carl, aye.
Sophia, aye.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
And the next thing is just this Illinois funds, which we did recently transfer some money from, just so that we're aware of how much money is in there at the moment. As of the end of May, we have $2,168.46.
I'll just be sharing the statement with you.
So, your turn, budget actual projections.
That's not great.
No.
So we're, right now as of today, we are underwater, our fund is underwater. So in other words, we don't have any cash left. That is a cash flow issue. There's nobody in the city who's indicated to me that they're in problem at all, and they've made payroll. In fact, Anthony Coolin, the budget officer, showed me that there are several city funds that are underwater this time of year. It just hasn't happened to us in a long time. So we get our property tax disbursement next month, and we'll be square again. That said, we will still, in the year, we're doing projection and, or, no, we're just doing, so, yeah, our cash position as the beginning of this month was $188,000 in the operating fund. As you can see, $169,000 in the capital reserve fund, roughly 6,000 in Cantoni, 33,000 in Meyer, 13,000 in memorials, for a total cash position of just shy of $410,000. So the projection is not pretty. We will end the year in the red. And again, that is that's a snapshot in time. Budget is a snapshot in time. We can absorb it this year, but it's not a good long-term strategy, as everyone surely understands. The problem again is on the revenue side, where I'm not projecting that we will overspend our budget at all. It's simply that the personal property replacement tax is going to come with maybe even worse than this is what I'm hearing, because the state starts their fiscal year July 1, and my understanding is it's going to get worse. So,
That's what I heard on the news the other day.
yeah, so, and we've become, this is a long-term discussion, but we've become pretty reliant on that as a source of revenue. So that's been a big part of the topic in our conversations with city council members, which I mentioned in my city librarian's report, but it might not hurt us to talk just briefly about that right now. Yeah, so the, I think, I think Councilman Cooper was sympathetic. I don't know that he'll be a champion because he seems to be opposed to raising the property tax in any way. That's
Yeah, he was very upfront with that.
yeah, he was.
But
He had,
like you said, he was sympathetic.
so they understood this. I mean, sometimes you wonder if they're going to even kind of understand. He got that. He saw the problem right away. So it doesn't mean we give up. But I reached out to, and we talked to Councilman Horn in May, and I thought that was a lot more encouraging, frankly. I reached out to Councilman Culp and have not heard back from him. Still waiting to hear from, to reschedule with Councilwoman Gregory and Councilman McDaniel. They both had some medical things that they were dealing with. And then Mayor Moore-Wolf is the last one we need to talk to. So I guess if I don't hear from Councilman Culp by the end of the week, should I move on to Mayor Moore-Wolf and schedule something with her?
Yeah. So, the only kind of interesting thing though, when we were talking to Councilman Cooper was, and we brought up, how understaffed we are and everything, what we had currently, and then, comparable numbers and stuff. And he asked, he goes, how many positions do you need to feel like you have got enough staff? I thought that was a very interesting question that he wasn't really into.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And he asked me for a number, and I'm still working on that because it depends on so many things.
Yeah.
Like, do we hire part-timers? What level do we hire at? That kind of thing. So there are a lot of variables there, but I think I've got a ballpark that I can share that.
So maybe he needs something specific
Well, maybe it's
instead of just like
And
a
I think
general range.
and I think it helped that the place was kind of funny here. So, as we're walking around, showing them some things, and it's good. Exactly.
Good.
Yes.
This is a good one, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, I think he was not trying to give us false hope, but he did appear sympathetic and understanding what we're doing and the importance of the library. So I'm not saying that we're without hope there. We still have others we need to talk to.
But you were potentially going to talk to like Ruby or?
Yeah, so I also had a meeting with City Manager Gleason, Deputy City Manager Hahn, and City Treasurer James. And I talked to them about it, and it was mostly me giving them information. They asked me questions. I didn't get a whole lot of feedback from them. Didn't commit to anything. I was asked one interesting question, was how does your staffing compare to Bloomington since he was just in Bloomington? And I was able to find out their FTE full-time equivalent is 68, ours is 32.
They have 68 people at Bloomington.
Full-time equivalent, they've got more bodies than
Yeah.
that. They rely a lot on part-time labor, so it is cheaper that way. And that is something we can certainly have a look at.
I mean, sometimes to fill the ones that maybe your full-time still want to take, you know, your weekends and
Sure.
your nights and weekends, like.
Yeah, it's definitely a way to get. I've always felt, and I'm willing to consider other options. And this sounds terrible. Please, part-time staff, I love you. But you know, I always figured you give somebody a full-time job with benefits and everything, you're also getting loyalty.
Yeah.
And you're investing.
And you're exactly. So, but it is a lot more expensive.
I agree with that, and I think in general, we should stick to full-time as opposed to part-time. I mean, there's lots of places that use part-time labor, like, you know, I mean, there's some big companies that do it just to get away with, that can afford it. But I think that there can be a benefit to a few part-timers here and there, people who don't necessarily need benefits and just want
Especially to cover.
a job.
There's a market for it. I mean, there is a pool, a labor pool, is what I guess what.
Yeah, and I would rather not
yeah,
use
would prefer
that as our, I'd rather not have the majority of our employees be part of that, but
But I
there
think
we may be able to open up a few jobs to
And
people
rather
who
I think I agree.
not
who
be,
want to do
yeah,
that kind
and
of
I'd
work.
rather not be the contractors, because they really don't have any.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
no,
like,
no, I
But you can get a part-time employee that has plenty of loyalty, that's what they want. is
agree.
part-time.
We had, you know, how long would be part-time?
10.5 years.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And you save.
Yeah, but for some people, it's not what they're, but you know, there's definitely especially for the paraprofessional positions, there's definitely, I think, a market for people who, you know, maybe want to be, you know, be home a lot with family, but would like some kind of income. And it's not a bad paying gig.
I don't think it's
So-
even necessarily about income for some of the part-time people, it's just something like somebody
Right.
who's staying home, they may
Yeah.
want just something to do, get out of the house and to be somewhere.
So-
but
It's
not-
certainly a way to get the foot in the door,
Correct.
because when there are openings, not that we have very many, like I said, 10.5 years, but that's how we have the librarians we have now until the two most recent ones.
So anyway, this year, we are, you know, I'm right now projecting an in-year deficit of about $100,000. And considering that our revenue is going to come in, you know, our main source of revenue is going to come, not our main, our second highest source of revenue is going to come in $207,000 short of that index. So,
Okay, so the City Blue revised agreement, we talked to our lawyer about it, and we're still paying less than what we were paying before, right?
yeah, and I'm sorry I didn't attach the actual agreement, but it's a, Matt's looked at it, and it should provide us enough, we think, enough ink at only $175 more a month from theirs, which is still about $250 or $300 less a month that we were paying for Watts. So, Jordan advised that we take it, and I think the committee did too.
Yeah, the committee recommends that we take the revised agreement. So I'm going to recommend that we accept the revised agreement with City Blue.
First, is there a second?
First, I'll second that.
Okay, first and second. It's a financial, so we have, go by voice. Voice vote. That's what I'm saying. Please, Mr. Clerk.
Kaylee, I.
Samantha, I.
Paula, aye.
Ashley, I.
Carl, aye.
Sophia, aye.
6 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
explain.
Yeah, so the clock was, I think I brought it to you.
yeah.
So what I think the committee recommended is that we refer, I'm sorry, I've forgotten her name, but refer to the city of Decatur because that is
We do
it
not
is
own
their
the
property. And the concern was that, well, one, we don't own the property, but two, there's just not a lot of foot traffic in the green space of the library. And maybe a park or something would be better if they wanted to.
Yeah, we
use
thought
it.
Central Park was probably a better idea.
So, and I still need to call her, so I'm not done.
I love the idea, but.
It is cool, yeah.
Yeah. So where you put it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's my first reaction to those things. What a neat idea. Maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, park makes more sense. Like even Preston Jackson Park would be
Would be a
really
better
nice 'cause
option, yeah.
It gets way more sun
Yeah.
than Central Park
Sure.
does, and it has a lot more open
Absolutely.
green space.
And they have the one by, I think it's like the little bike through, just like that little park.
Where Mercy Market is on
Mercy
Saturdays.
Market.
Oh, yeah. But since it's the city's property.
Oh, yeah,
we
it
could
makes
just-
total
we
sense
could
to
just
refer back
say,
to the city
We
anyway,
got off the
but
hook on that one. We didn't have to, yeah.
there are places that make more sense.
Okay, so the next one is the city librarian's compensation, and I make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120 and 2C1, etc.
And I'm willing to.
Wait, let's wait for Melissa.
She had professional session.
They're out of closed session. I'm sorry, did you note the time?
Yes,
Five
yes,
36.
5:36.
And you just have to write 536 on there and then put
And
it in
then
the
we'll give you an envelope and seal it.
Okay, so now that we are out of closed session,
Yeah, we'll take, it's not working, so.
let's a vote on the motion.
Yeah, motion to pay the city librarian compensation at the annual salary rate of $125,000.54. $125,054.
Blake came up with that number.
Yes. And
I'm having a hard time
Yeah.
understanding.
I would like to second that.
Yeah, there's a first and second reading, discussion.
Oh, and retroactive to January first.
yes.
Did you make the motion, or you?
He made the motion, but I added the
You can make the
retroactive.
motion?
Yeah.
Okay, then, you second it?
I second it.
Usually sounds like we're here.
Kelly says aye.
Yes.
Aye, Samantha?
Paula, aye.
Ashley, I.
All right.
Sophia, aye.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
And we apologize for not doing this sooner.
Yeah,
Yes.
Motion carried. All right, continuing on, we have foundation, if there is no report, is there anything, definitely not foundation wise. Move down to Friends of the Library.
I was there.
What were you, any requests?
Alex.
Yeah, they just said,
Did that go?
150th, yeah, it went like, totally fine. The 150th anniversary committee asked to move some money around and they were fine with it. They are talking about doing some strategic planning, which I applaud, and thinking more big picture. So, yeah.
Especially since we gave that awesome space. I
And
love
then
that.
was the request that I submitted in the capital.
Oh, yeah, we filled out a request, but we were like, we weren't even really trying to sell it. It was Illinois Libraries Presents, which we've had 5 years now.
This would have been the 5th
And it's
season.
just never really, yes, this would have been the 5th year, and it has never really connected with our patrons. It's online. You can only attend live
I don't, no, well,
in real time.
3 days.
Oh, yes, right.
3
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
But I've done some of them, but they don't always have, like, speakers that I want to hear.
Right.
And so the other one,
Has done much better.
the other one has a lot bigger people, and
It's
so,
all year long.
So we told them, hey, the cost per person in this hasn't been good, and they declined to fund it, and we were fine with that.
that's fine.
So that's it in a nutshell.
Move down now into
I was only on it for 6 months. This was my last meeting on Tuesday. And so I actually got to like tour the facility down in IHLS where they do like the delivery. They have the new automated materials handler, which is crazy. It's massive. It's much bigger than ours, obviously. But they have like different ways that they have to configure it because it's only so long. You can only have a certain amount of libraries at a time. So they kind of configure it so they'll run books through and they'll go into the bins for those particular libraries. And then there's like an excess bin and then they'll switch libraries. And so the bins will be for different libraries. They'll send them down again if they went into the exception bin. And they've got 3 different ones because they have tons of libraries. It was so cool just to be there and to like meet all the people on board because like I'm just sitting here on a computer by myself. They did the elections. Alex unfortunately didn't get chosen. So, but like I mean, not too great. Carbondale's gonna have it like so they've already done. I think they've already done. Champagne? I might have done Champagne.
There's Champagne, there's
And Carbondale.
Carbondale, this used to be one of the coin, is that no?
They've got 3, so it'll be Champagne. Champagne's already done, I think, and they're gonna have a ribbon cutting next month, I think, for that. And so Carbondale won't have it until their fiscal year 26, which starts next month. Then we had our meeting on Tuesday, and we approved the directors contract for 5 years, so it was very contentious. Like,
That doesn't surprise me.
but it was a good experience to get a little bit more broader view of like the delivery and the IT. And it was a very cool. So that is my IHS report.
We'll move down to old business. There is none, Melissa has that.
Moved up that new business.
I do. It's related to the 150th, I'm just gonna put it in here, but the board shirts, if you want a 150th shirt, for the, like, you can buy them, I think Alex sent out an email about it.
Yeah.
So we need a size, if you haven't done that, and then also a check. And then I also, in June 5th, I went to the city council meeting and I read my love letter to the library.
I love that.
Rick came and it was good. They didn't say anything, like they just said thank you.
Like, all right, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. So that is my other business.
Excellent.
I'm going to be reaching out to city council, by the way, and seeing if they can do some kind of proclamation for our 150 members.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
Thank you, Jason Buttery for the suggestion.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
I hired him.
Okay.
That might be
Just a little more publicity.
So is that the only new business?
Don't forget your headshots.
Oh. Okay, can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
I'll look at it. We already
You already did? Oh,
We moved it to the top.
I know you did, but there's an actual.
We did it. We did it.
I
while
missed
she was
so
here.
much. Wow. Unheard of.
Yeah,
There's a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
I seconded.
There's a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, chair.